It was going well. That's the part no one warns you about. The part that makes no sense when you say it out loud. The relationship was finally good. They were kind. They showed up. They meant it. And that is exactly when something in you started looking for the door. Not because they did anything wrong, because they didn't. If you've ever pulled away from someone the moment they got close, if you've ever felt a relationship get good, and then felt yourself go cold for no reason you can explain, this isn't a character flaw. It's a pattern. And by the end of this, you're going to understand it. Maybe for the first time. Let me describe a version of you. See if it fits. For most of the relationship, you were fine. Interested even. You liked them. You looked forward to the texts. And then, quietly, something shifted. Maybe they said, "I really care about you." And instead of warmth, you felt a small drop in your stomach. Maybe they started planning further ahead, a trip, a holiday, meeting your friends. And the future they were describing felt less like a promise and more like a ceiling lowering over your head. Maybe nothing happened at all. They were just there, consistent, available. And somehow that consistency started to feel like pressure. So you did what you always do. Not dramatically. You're not cruel. You just receded. You took longer to reply. You found things slightly annoying that never used to bother you. You noticed flaws you'd somehow missed before. The way they chew, the way they laugh too loud, the way they need you. And you told yourself a story. You told yourself maybe they're not the one. Maybe the spark is gone. Maybe you're just not built for this. Here's what makes it so painful. A part of you is watching this happen and screaming. A part of you knows this person is good. A part of you can already feel the regret you'll carry 6 months from now when you're alone and you finally understand what you walked away from. But knowing doesn't stop it. The distance comes anyway, like a reflex you never agreed to. And afterward, you don't feel free. You feel hollow, relieved and grieving at the same time. If that's familiar, I need you to hear this clearly. You're not broken. You're not incapable of love. You're running a very old program, and we're about to look at the code. What you're describing has a name. Psychologists call it avoidant attachment. And the first thing you have to understand is this. Avoidant attachment is not a lack of desire for connection. It's the opposite. It's a desire for connection that, somewhere along the way, became dangerous. Attachment theory began with a simple observation. As children, we are wired to reach for our caregivers when we're distressed. It's not a preference. It's survival. A small child cannot regulate fear, hunger, or pain alone. So they reach, they cry, they lift their arms, and they wait to see what comes back. For some children, what comes back is comfort. Reliable, warm, good enough comfort. They learn a quiet, foundational belief. When I need someone, they will be there. That child grows up secure. But for others, the reaching didn't work the way it should have. Maybe the caregiver was loving but overwhelmed. Maybe emotions in your home were uncomfortable or inconvenient or simply not allowed. Maybe you learned very early that needing too much made people pull back or made things worse. So you adapted. Brilliantly, actually. You learned to stop reaching. You learned that the safest person to depend on was yourself. You became the child who didn't need much, who was easy, who was fine. And you were praised for it. Independent, mature, low maintenance. But here's what was really happening underneath. Psychologists call it a deactivating strategy. When the natural urge to seek closeness keeps getting met with disappointment, the nervous system finds a workaround. It learns to switch the urge off, to down-regulate the very need for other people, because the need itself had become a source of pain. This is the key that unlocks everything. Your nervous system did not learn that connection is bad. It learned that connection is unsafe. And those are very different lessons. Now fast forward 20 years. You're an adult. You meet someone. And in the early stages, everything is fine. Because in the early stages, there's distance built in. There's mystery. There's space. Your system can handle it. But then they get closer. They start to need you. They start to rely on you. They start to feel like home. And your nervous system, which filed home away a long time ago under the word danger, sounds the alarm. It floods you with discomfort, with doubt, with a sudden urgent need for air. It hands you a list of their flaws, perfectly timed to justify the exit. It convinces you that the problem is them, or the relationship, or the spark. Anything but the truth. Because the truth is unbearable to a system built on self-reliance. The truth is, you're scared, not of them, of needing them, of how much it would hurt if you let yourself depend on someone again, and they disappeared the way you learned long ago that people do. That cold feeling you get when someone loves you. That's not the absence of love. That's your oldest wound, doing the only job it ever knew how to do, protecting you. So let me say, the thing I most want you to take from this. Your distance is not a defect. It's a defense. Every time you pulled away, you weren't failing at love. You were succeeding at protection. The strategy worked. It kept you safe. The problem is, it's still running, decades later, in a life that doesn't need it anymore, pointed at people who were never the threat. This changes what you're actually dealing with. Because if the problem is that you're cold, or selfish, or incapable, then there's nothing to do but feel ashamed. But if the problem is that a frightened part of you is still trying to protect a child who isn't in danger anymore, then there's something to work with. You don't have to fix who you are. You have to update what your nervous system believes. And I want to gently challenge the story you've been telling yourself. You've probably decided that this is just your personality, that you're independent, that you need a lot of space, that you're not the relationship type. But notice, those aren't traits, they're armor. And armor is not the same as the person wearing it. The avoidance isn't the real you. It's the wall the real you built when reaching out got too dangerous. And here's the part that should give you hope. Walls can come down, slowly, carefully, brick by brick. Not by forcing yourself to be vulnerable overnight, but by teaching your body, through repetition, that closeness and safety can finally exist in the same place. That work has a name, too. Psychologists call it earned security. It means you weren't born secure, but you can become it. The research is clear on this. Attachment style is not a life sentence. It's a starting point. So how do you actually start? Not vague advice. 3 specific shifts. First, learn to catch the deactivation in the moment. The next time a relationship is going well, and you feel that familiar cold creeping in, the doubt, the irritation, the sudden flaws, pause. And name it. Literally, in your head say, "This is my avoidance activating." This is the old program, not the truth. You're not trying to make the feeling disappear. You're trying to create a half-second of space between the feeling and the reaction. Because the feeling is automatic. The reaction doesn't have to be. Second, use the 20-minute rule before you create distance. When the urge to pull away hits, to cancel the plan, to pick the fight, to send the cold text, don't act on it for 20 minutes. Avoidant deactivation comes in waves, and the wave almost always passes if you don't feed it. In those 20 minutes, ask yourself one honest question. Did this person actually do something? Or did they just get close? If the answer is that they simply got close, then what you're feeling isn't a problem with them. It's your nervous system asking for reassurance in the only language it knows. Distance. Don't obey it on instinct. Third, practice staying through small moments of closeness on purpose. You don't rebuild secure attachment with grand gestures. You rebuild it in tiny, deliberate reps. Let someone help you with something, instead of insisting you're fine. Say, "I missed you," out loud when it's true, even when it feels exposing. Stay on the phone an extra 5 minutes after the part of you that's done wants to hang up. Each time you stay, and nothing bad happens, your nervous system collects a small piece of new evidence. Evidence that closeness didn't cost you anything this time. Stack enough of those moments, and the old belief starts, very slowly, to loosen its grip. That's how earned security is built. Not in a breakthrough, in repetitions. So the next time it's going well, and you feel yourself start to go cold, I hope you remember what that coldness actually is. It's not proof you don't love them. It's not proof you're broken. It's a younger version of you, still standing guard, still trying to keep you safe from a danger that passed a long time ago. You can thank that part of you. It got you here. And then you can gently tell it, "We're okay now. We're allowed to stay." If any of this felt like reading your own mind, tell me in the comments. When does the cold usually hit you? Is it when they get close, when they need you, or when things just get too good? I read every one of these, and there are more people in your exact situation than you think. If this gave you a new way to understand yourself, subscribe. We go this deep on the patterns that quietly shape your life every single week. Take care of yourself. I mean that.